Check yourself up.
Good, gentlemen. Trunks are good on both sides. Fellas, we went over the rules in the dressing room. I want you to caution you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, touch them up.
Fanless atmosphere, of course, in the COVID-19 protected bubble there at the MGM Grand Conference Center, but that doesn't mean your voice can't be heard. You can go to espn.hearmecheer.com to participate with your voice as a fan for this main event live from Vegas. Jose Pedraza said, in terms of taking this fight, the 2-week turnaround, the catch weight now higher at 144. Yeah, it can be considered a risk, but he thinks he will adapt well to the weight. Feels LesPierre is strong, but he said, I'm faster, and you combine that with my skill and agility, and that will be the key to victory.
I agree, Joe. That should be the case. You're looking at a fighter in Jose Pedraza who's fought 67 World Championship rounds. LesPierre has only fought 12. And Pedraza has a lot more experience than LesPierre, taking nothing away from LesPierre, but Pedraza, if he wants to keep his title shot alive and his name at the forefront of the sport, he's got to not only win tonight, but be impressive.
So Tim, Dre brings up the experience edge for Pedraza at the highest level. The 12 rounds that he references for LesPierre, that is when he fought Maurice Hooker, March of 2019 for the WBC junior welterweight belt. And he was rocked and cut in the 5th round. He was knocked down with a left hook in the 9th round. Wide margins for the unanimous decision win for Hooker that night.
Yeah, but he gained experience from that. LesPierre, you know, and he's taking that experience that he gained in that fight into him right now.
Uppercut left hand from Pedraza.
I love the punch choices, the punch selection coming from Pedraza. He's coming from different angles. He's confusing LesPierre in there. And LesPierre is a hard guy to hit. You know, he's a slick fighter. You know, he moves his head off it, but there you see right there, Pierre pushes off and attacks and comes forward, trying to close the distance.
The work rate from Pedraza here in round number 1. Natural right-hander who, as you see, switches constantly.
Pedraza's doing the right thing. He's coming out, he's letting LesPierre know that I'm the boss, I'm the guy with more experience, and you're a good fighter, but I'm a better fighter. And that's the kind of presence you want to have if you're Jose Pedraza in this first round.
See blood coming from the nose of LesPierre. Shoved into the ice bucket as he injured it at the end of the 9th round in his decision win against Mark Bernaldez just moments ago. He's now 17-0. Meanwhile, in that first round, Tim, Jose Pedraza landed 11 power punches against Mikkel LesPierre.
Yeah, the variation of the punches, the punch selection, what I'm talking about. And here you see Pedraza comes around with the right hook right there inside the pocket, but then you see him weave and get his head back off the line, which confused LesPierre, and then he caught him with a couple of more combinations right there in that sequence. Great work, great offense, great creativity from Jose Pedraza.
Talked about the extra weight that Pedraza has to deal with in LesPierre, and to me, Jose Pedraza looks like the bigger man right now. Physically.
He's coming for that. Come on, man. He's coming. Ah!
See, a lot of people don't understand that movement of Pedraza and what he's doing. You know, he's making himself hard to be timed. You know, it's hard for LesPierre to time him with shots. And then when LesPierre sits right there in front, what do you see? Pedraza now working combinations to the head.
Look at LesPierre covering up, and Pedraza's just letting him fly.
Bayless has to keep a close eye. I know he's blocking some of those, but some of those shots are getting through.
Absolutely, some of them are. Puts up the earmuffs, and Pedraza says, that's fine. I'll press the accelerator, no problem with that. And there's an uppercut that lands.
Answer at all is a concern.
Pedraza lands a thudding uppercut.
Don't push, don't push.
Pedraza's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. I said it in the beginning, taking nothing from LesPierre, but you have to look at his record, you have to look at his experience, and you have to treat him as such. Good shot right there from Pedraza. You can't allow a person like LesPierre, a fighter like LesPierre, to gain confidence. If I hear that you're working a day job and going to the gym at night, I got to treat you like, you know, you're boxing in the evening and working during the day. Yeah, I got to treat you just like that. And that's what Pedraza's doing right now.
LesPierre now trying to make some way, push off and create some offense of his own here at the end of round number 2.
Yeah, Pedraza might have punched himself a little bit out this round. He threw a lot of combinations.
We'll update those CompuBox numbers when we come back. Active round 2 from Jose Pedraza. Good stuff. It was a rapid-fire assault in round number 2 from Jose Pedraza.
Talked about Pedraza setting the tone. I think I counted somewhere between 30, 35 shots to the body, to the head. I'm concerned that LesPierre felt like it was okay to sit on the ropes and take that kind of punishment. Not every shot landed, but plenty of them did. And Kenny Bayless was very, very close to stopping that fight.
You know, and Kenny Bayless made the comment just before the start of this 3rd round to Mikkel LesPierre. It's like, listen, you got to show me something at moments like that. It's my job to protect you. But in that 2nd round, look at the punches for Pedraza. He was 46 of 83, 55%, 43 of 67 on power punches. That's just in the 2nd round. Let's check in with Bernardo and hear what they're saying in the corner of Slick Mick.
Right before Kenny Bayless told Mikkel LesPierre to show him something, Joan Guzman said the same thing, and LesPierre told him, look, he hurt me to the body. And he says, look, you can beat this guy, but you got to show me something.
Joan Guzman is the trainer of LesPierre. Of course, Guzman, former junior featherweight and junior lightweight world champion.
You know, when Pedraza landed those combinations, and you didn't see anything coming back from LesPierre, you know, referee could have stepped in there and stopped that action a long time ago. He could have stepped in there. It was probably about 35 seconds of no return fire from LesPierre.
I like that. Come on.
You're Jose Pedraza. You want to test the tank of LesPierre again. You had a great round. I know he probably has to get his wind back under him and recover, but fighters speak loud. The body language speaks loud, and there's a reason LesPierre wasn't throwing punches back, and he's got to go see what that reason is and go test him once again.
Well, you can tell the stomach of LesPierre. It doesn't look like it's in tip-top shape. You know, I don't see any ridges in his stomach. If I'm Pedraza, that's where I'm going. I'm going down to the body. Forget about the head. I'm going to hit the body.
If you're LesPierre, you got hit with a good body shot in the previous round. You got to try to recover and get yourself back in this fight. It's still early.
Left hand that scored.
He got hurt with that shot.
Combination that comes in.
He got hurt with that.
He did. End of 3, Pedraza in control. Another high percentage of power punches landed in that last round for Jose Pedraza. And Timmy, he got to LesPierre late with the left hand.
Yeah, Pedraza keeps landing shots like that. Look at how he just made the jab miss of LesPierre and came right over the top with the straight left hand and buzzed him. You saw the stanky legs right there from LesPierre. You know, if he continues to land shots like this in this round, this fight is going to be over real soon. Trust me.
Present hand. Good try, good try.
Talked about Pedraza at the top of the show, showing some slippage in his last couple of fights. He's not showing any slippage right now. He's showing vintage Jose Pedraza, the one that helped him win the 2 world titles in 2 different weight classes. His Achilles heel has been inconsistent. He's been inconsistent in the past. That's not the case tonight.
Change it. Eso. Hey, come on, come on. Vamos. Hey, eso.
The problem for LesPierre is he's not only been hurt to the body now, as we just saw in that replay, he's now getting hurt to the head.
No le sigas, no le sigas. Vamos. Yeah.
You said, Dre, you know, that Pedraza has that willingness. You know, you got to understand, people, that you got to go to a pretty much a dark place when you're in that ring. You know, you got to feel like you're invincible. You got to feel like you're the man. And if there's any time when you don't feel that way, you get into a fight, you're not going to perform at your best. And I think that's Pedraza. And I believe that Pedraza at this moment believes that he's a great fighter. And he's fighting like it tonight.
I think his stepfather and trainer, Luis Espada, as well as Pedraza, they've been around the game in the amateurs a long time. They've been in the pro game a long time. They know that they don't have a lot of chances to stay in this place where they're right in line for a title shot. So they knew they had to come in here and perform tonight. And he's been off for a long time. Lots of cancellations, the coronavirus. He's making the most of this performance tonight.
But to me, right at this moment, it seems like Pedraza's letting LesPierre up off the hook a little bit. You know, he's moving his head very well, but he's not making LesPierre pay with those shots. You make a fighter miss, you got to try to make him pay.
Come on, come on. Eso es. Come on. Hey, oh my God. Come on, come on. Eso es. 10 seconds.
Ahí.
Watch it, stop.
Evita el clinche, evita el clinche.
Take it easy, take it easy.
Time.
Been a very solid night for Jose Pedraza.
Vamos, vamos.
31-year-old, former 2-division world champion. Lost the lightweight unification fight to Vasily Lomachenko. Round 5 here against LesPierre. A 90-31 connected advantage to this point for Pedraza. The dominating second round where he landed 43 power punches when LesPierre covered up and absorbed punishment. Check in with Bernardo.
Luis Espada told me, look, he's got to use his boxing because LesPierre is the bigger and stronger guy in there. I want him to continue to use his range, win round by round, and he's just got to watch out for one thing, LesPierre's left.
He does have to watch out for LesPierre's left. And you can see LesPierre trying to set it up. You know, he went to the head with the left, but you also can turn it up the middle. And as Pedraza's moving forward, you see him drop down to the body right there. He's available. He just knocked him down.
That's a knockdown scored.
4, 5.
So LesPierre scores the knockdown.
8. Okay. Give me
Might have been a little bit off balance, squared up, and got caught in the process. But the uppercut is available for LesPierre.
It was awkward there on that exchange, but the knockdown ruled. Looked like Pedraza was off balance.
If you're LesPierre, obviously things haven't gone your way early in this fight, but this is the time. Good shot.
And they reverse order as Pedraza turns the tables
5
and scores a knockdown of his own.
7, 8. Okay. Gloves.
So they trade knockdowns here in round 5.
Hey, move it. Uppercut.
Now Pedraza stalking.
Stop.
LesPierre tying up.
Move it.
Vivo, con cuidado, man.
Move it. No, move like that, man.
Pedraza's got to try to get another shot in there before this bell rings.
LesPierre doing a good
Comes
job
with the
of
right hand.
clearing his head at the moment. Nice tie-up right there by the vet, LesPierre.
Camina con el
Tying up
bolso.
again, trying to get through these last 10 seconds here of round 5. Just missing with the right hand.
LesPierre finally had some success in this round, or did he? You see right there the right foot and the left foot of Jose Pedraza right here get tangled up, which is commonplace for a southpaw and an orthodox fighter. Kenny Bayless missed it, and it wasn't really a knockdown.
But then you see return fire from Pedraza right there. Nice right hand on the southpaw. We always say that the right hand is the southpaw killer, and here you go. You see it here in full effect by Pedraza, causing a knockdown.
So that was a great replay by our crew there, showing you the first ruled knockdown of LesPierre. Clearly his right foot was caught behind the foot of Pedraza, and it had a trip to it. And then you see Pedraza come back with a big right hand. And now Kenny Bayless is being called down to, I assume, the replay official, because it'll be at his sole discretion, but our replay is now what they are looking at. And that is Robert Byrd, who's the replay official, along with the commissioner. But watch the right foot against the left foot.
Okay.
So the first one's
Not a knockdown.
To me, it looked like a knockdown because LesPierre landed a punch when he was bagging out. And I understand that the feet are in position, and he probably tripped over his foot, but the punch landed.
His foot got caught, so they're going to come back with the scorecard.
So Executive Director Bob Bennett putting forth Nevada State's replay rule before the start of the round.
Was not a knockdown.
You hear him saying it was not a knockdown, with the feet being tangled. So that information now goes to the 3 judges.
Right, and Patricia knows. Okay.
Look.
Jeff Mullen is
Can somebody
the
help me
commissioner
understand?
bringing around the notes. Robert Byrd was the replay official there, Dre, but it's at the sole discretion of the referee, Kenny Bayless.
Yeah.
Please,
Okay,
Dre.
but why are they stopping the action? I haven't seen this yet, Joe. I've seen them check in between rounds, but not to stop the actual flow of
His
the fight.
knockdown was a trip.
No, you can do this. You can do this. I read the rules. You can do this at the beginning of the round. If you feel that it might have not been a knockdown, it's at the ref's discrepancy, he can actually step in and actually call for this review.
You're
I don't
absolutely
like
right,
this.
Tim.
This can change the whole flow of a
It was
fight.
trip. I saw it on this replay. Wanted you to know.
So you hear Kenny Bayless, Dre, and Tim go to both corners. All 3 judges have been informed by the assistant commissioner. And then Kenny Bayless goes to each corner and says, listen, that was a trip. LesPierre is not getting credit for the knockdown there. That was a trip. And to answer your question, Timmy, you said it, at any moment, it's at the sole discretion of the referee if they want to confirm or overturn any initial call. They want to get it right. They watched our replay. They watch our program monitor very closely. They said, hey, ESPN showing you that it's a trip. We feel it's a trip. And then Robert Byrd is the replay official assigned, the veteran referee Robert Byrd. Bayless comes down to Byrd. They watch it together. They consult. They come to a conclusion. And that's what Kenny Bayless wanted to do. And he was able to overturn his original call of a knockdown, ruling it a trip. Bernardo.
In the absence of Executive Director Bob Bennett, it was Jeff Mullen, the Assistant Executive Director, who explained to me that under the Nevada State Athletic Commission regulations, they can stop the action in order to make sure that it was a trip, they did see the replay, and more importantly, to make sure that they change the scorecards accordingly before proceeding.
I like the replay. I just don't like the timing of it. I understand if it's a referee is checking the replay during the rest period and it bleeds over into another round, but to allow the rest period, the full minute, to run its course and then to stop the action, I just don't like that part.
Well, listen, Pedraza had LesPierre hurt, Dre, right? And if you come to the end of that 5th round, advantage Pedraza with the big right hand and then the stalking attack right to the bell against LesPierre, who tied up multiple times down the stretch of that 5th round. So it does give a break to LesPierre. Even though it takes away the knockdown scored, he's able to regain his composure.
I've seen the ringside judge consult with the ringside referee who's in charge of the video, consult with the referee that's in the ring in between rounds. I've just never seen the referee get out of the ring like that. And everybody named Bird, Bayless, they're all veterans, great refs. I've just never seen that happen before.
It's part of the rules, Dre. It's part of the rules. They can do that. They have the authority to do that. And I don't mind it at all because you got to get it right because, you know, it can change the tide of the fight, honestly. If you're on the receiving end of a knockdown and you felt in your heart that you didn't get knocked down, that it was a cheap shot or whatever it was, to change your mood.
A reminder that once we wrap up from Vegas, it'll be Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter, bringing you the full day of news, including the NBA stars returning. We'll have a report from inside the bubble. Everybody's got a bubble nowadays, guys. Remember the first bubble? Everybody's got a bubble nowadays. Plus, Tony Clark on what's going on with the tension between Major League Baseball and Players Association in day 1 of the PGA Rocket Mortgage Classic. That is coming up with SVP on SportsCenter once we finish up with our main event here on Top Rank Boxing. And of course, we will be back with you after. Hope everybody has a happy and safe 4th of July. We'll be back with you for Tuesday and Thursday of next week. Jose Zepeda will be in action. He got the best of Jose Pedraza last year. And then we will have the undefeated American heavyweight prospect Jared Anderson next Thursday. Bernardo, what are they saying in the corner of LesPierre?
Joan Guzman, the former world champion, said he's got a second shot after this opportunity that the commission gave him to take a rest, but he's not listening to me. I told him, we worked on that left uppercut all camp. You've got to use your range, and he's not doing any of that.
That type of break mid-fight or at the start of a new round is can not only let a fighter off the hook if one fighter has momentum, but it also causes the fighters to cool down. And that's one of the worst things for fighters, to be warm, to have the engine revving, and then to abruptly stop the car and allow the body to idle and then have to get re-warmed up. And that's what you see right now from these fighters. They're trying to get themselves back in the lather.
Okay, you follow me, throw punches. You desperate, my man. Take it easy.
It's like you dancing on the dance floor, and then all of a sudden somebody abruptly turns the music off for 5 minutes and then tells you, hey, start dancing just like you was before we turn the music off. It's difficult. You gotta warm up.
No, Dre, you better be catching your rhythm by yourself with no music, man, and stay loose and stay warmed up.
Come on, man.
Shoot, come on, man. I understand what you're saying, Dre. I understand, but, you know, one guy didn't get the rest. Both these guys got a rest. And I understand that one guy might have had an advantage, but like I said, I would rather have it right and be called not a knockdown than to be called a knockdown. I'm willing to deal with that.
Time!
I want you to look at the total punches as we start this 8th round. Pedraza has a 127-51 connect advantage. But when you look at the percentage landed, he's landing 43%. LesPierre's only landing 16%.
You know, that's what I always say about that percentage, especially power punches. The closer you get to 50, that smells a knockout.
He's at 54% power punches. He's landed 98 of 181, Pedraza.
Sí, lo olvidé engaño. No tengo que verlo listo.
Río ya, Río ya, Río ya, Río ya.
Vivo, gordo, no te pares, coge, no te pares.
Eso es, dime dos.
Tienes que moverte para evitar el golpe, para
Río ya, momento,
que el golpe
ya.
sea fuerte. Salte.
To your point, Tim, earlier, both fighters had a rest period, whether they wanted it or not. And Pedraza can't use that as an excuse to not keep his foot on the gas and keep pressing the way that he was. And LesPierre, he needs to look at the rest period as an opportunity to try to land a big shot.
No lean this side.
Bonito, vamos. Vivo.
Because he's not winning rounds right now.
No, not at all.
Bonito.
And any time that Pedraza steps on the gas and actually let his hands go, he connects.
Double uppercut.
La recta y te cambia.
Pedraza just needs to be more, he needs to get more consistent with his work. You know, there's too many lows in his work.
La recta embolada. La mano derecha embolada, gordo.
Beautiful counter right.
But the problem is there's only one punch. You hit him with one piece, go ahead and hit him with two, and then three, then four. Let those hands go.
Mikkel LesPierre has ability, fellas. He just was never able to get started tonight. Jose Pedraza jumped him from the first round, and he hasn't let up since.
Y la otra mano abajo. Esta mano arriba, gordo, esta mano arriba.
Pedraza being very smart, just picking his shots wisely. You know, he's not rushing anything. He's taking his time, and he's allowing LesPierre to work, and then he's trying to counter.
Titles coming up on ESPN, most likely in August. This is a top-heavy division with two stars, including number one Jose Ramirez sitting on top.
Eso es, I like that, come on. Leo.
It's not only top heavy, Joe, but it's heavy in that top 10. I don't see anything easy. I don't see any easy work in that top 10 in that 140-pound division.
No, Ivan Baranchik is number 7 as well. So, I mean, listen, it's a great division. It really is, and it'll be fascinating to see how things play out with Ramirez and with Josh Taylor if we can have an undisputed champion at 140 pounds. Of course, we had that with Terrence Bud Crawford before he migrated north to 147.
There's a lot of talent, a lot of hidden talent in the 140-pound division. You know, Zepeda's one of them. You got Mario Barrios as well. You got Arnold Barboza as well. You know, we don't talk about often, but he's also another top 140-pounder.
LesPierre hasn't shown the skill and ability to pull away from Pedraza, but he's definitely shown a lot of heart tonight.
Especially considering the punishment he took early on. Yeah, that second round he took a lot of punishment. Then he was hurt with a big left hand. In the third round, he was hurt with a big right hand. In the fifth round, when Pedraza came back after what was initially ruled a knockdown scored by LesPierre, and Nevada State Athletic Commission took the time to utilize replay and said it was a trip, so that was overturned.
Very easy as a fighter when you have a day job like LesPierre does and you're getting hit with shots like that and have been from the beginning. You got hurt to the body, you're bleeding out of the eye and the nose, to all of a sudden find something wrong, an elbow, a knee, my back. He didn't take that out tonight, and I respect him for that.
Pedraza has LesPierre right where he wants him, but then he backs up. You know, if he puts together a series of combinations, if he stay consistent with his attack, he probably could stop him.
Come on, be careful, my man. Careful with that reference. Come on, give me something.
Gira, cuando gira para que no te encuentre de frente.
Pedraza's returning to the form that we saw from him early in the fight. He's pressing, not allowing LesPierre to think or rest. And you see all the damage that Pedraza's done on the face of LesPierre right now.
Remember in the 5th round when Mikkel LesPierre was given credit for a knockdown, but then Kenny Bayless, after that round, said, hold on a second, I want to go down to the replay official, Robert Bird, take a look and see if I can overturn this, because he believed that there was a trip. This is exactly how it went down. So he went over, went through the ropes. They were just about to start the 6th round. Instead, he sits there with Robert Bird. You see Joe Cortez also chiming in, as well as Jeff Mullen, the associate director of the Nevada State Athletic Commission. Kenny Bayless said, hey, I have the right to do this. These are the review procedures that we have with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, and it was overturned. He said that was a trip. That was not a knockdown. Now, Dre, the problem you had with it is that it took 2 minutes and 10 seconds to do that. From the time that he said, time, hold on guys, we're not fighting, until he came back and said it was a trip and we're re-engaged, was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And to you, that goes against the grain of a basic pillar and tenet of the sport, is that we fight for 3 minutes, you get a 60-second rest, we fight for 3 minutes, and you have to withstand that and endure that.
Right, I just don't like the timing of it. Kenny Bayless did a great job of wanting to look at it again and overturning it, because he called it a knockdown, so he corrected himself. Right hand from Pedraza.
Knockdown scored here in the 10th.
7, 8. Okay, come to me.
But it was his momentum coming forward, and I believe it was a jab hand of Pedraza.
Remember the last time he covered up, you got the rapid fire assault. Let's see if Pedraza can close the show as he winds up with a body shot with the right hand. And covering up and off balance, here comes Pedraza ready to close the show. Former 2-division world champion, seeing if he can get rid of LesPierre here in the 10th round.
Another big shot lands. Bayless is going to stop this.
There's a right hand that snaps back the neck. Bayless is giving this a good look. He does not like the way LesPierre looks. Can he show him anything at all? Jab snaps back the head. Pedraza right there in close range. Another right hand comes in. LesPierre can't tie up. Right hand to the body.
Pedraza looking for that right hand over the top.
Let's see if he can find it.
If he takes it downstairs, he'll be able to set it up, but you gotta disguise it. Take it downstairs first.
He heard you, Tim.
There it is. And then he bam, right up the top of the head. Good shot.
Look at LesPierre fighting back, though, man. LesPierre's got a lot of heart.
I'm telling you, man.
He does have heart. Guy who was helping on the front line of COVID-19 efforts back home in New York. Came out here to fight, got sent back home with a positive test to a manager, so the fight was delayed 2 weeks. Came back out, took time out for work. He's absorbed a lot of punishment tonight, but he's going to try to take it right to the wire and go the full distance with Pedraza. After being knocked down in the 5th, knocked down here in the 10th.
Stop. No jump, 10 seconds. No jump into him. No jump into him.
Well, LesPierre was tough enough to go the distance, but Pedraza was far too much for him tonight. And early on, he was placing the power punches throughout. In the 2nd round, in fact, he landed 43 power punches, a huge offensive assault. And round number 5, this was the moment that went to review as Mikkel LesPierre scored what was initially ruled a knockdown. They said no, it was a trip. But Pedraza answered in that round with a big right hand himself.
Time. Neutral.
So Kenny Bayless went to the replay official, Robert Bird, and they would take a look. And then he would go inform the judges as well as the 2 corners that indeed it was a trip. There was no denying what this was, as Pedraza tagged LesPierre, put him on his back end. LesPierre was tying up numerous times down the stretch of the 5th round just to get through it. And then what we just saw in the 10th round, Pedraza scoring with that left hand, putting LesPierre down again. In the end, he landed 129 power punches. 54% of his power punches landed. The final total looked like this, 168 out of 406.
Ladies and gentlemen, here inside the MGM Grand, after 10 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for the official decision. Tim Cheatham has the bout 100-88. Dave Moretti and Patricia Morse-Jarman have it 99-89. For your winner by unanimous decision, Jose "Sniper" Pedraza!
Dominated from start to finish. Louis Espada, having lost his mom this week. You saw him point up to the sky just moments ago. Mark Kriegel, your final thoughts on Jose Pedraza.